Hello, and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hi, hello, how are my lovelies, my beauties? Let's see. Let's get that scorching hot, bubbling hot petty tea. And let's get started. And if you like it cold, hold the ice, the ICE, until they are defunded, until they leave our airports, until we know that they will not be outside of our voting booths trying to take away our right to vote or intimidate us, until they don't feel like they're a white supremacist group. It's like that's basically what they feel like. They basically feel like the college dropouts of the January 6th who they had nothing else to do, or they had no hobbies or career goals or anything like that, and no woman was going to date them, so they had nothing else to do anyway, so they were like, why not? Why not basically in a way make people feel like I'm kidnapping them and take them to a horrible, horrific place where they are malnourished, mistreated, and even though the side that is for this says all lives matter, eh, yeah, we didn't really mean that anyway. Yeah, we meant all lives as long as you look like us and will date the conservative way and so-called live a conservative way. But yeah, this episode's political, and it talks a lot about the hypocrisy and just the revolting, just awful, terrible treatment of human beings. But yeah, so anyways, hold the ice, please. You can place it in the freezer, so it could be really nice and cold if you like it like that. I know we're approaching, like, we're already into spring, so summer's right around the corner, whatever. But yeah, and if you're in a dark place, either like watch some, like, I'm gonna be working on that, but like find some comedy either on one of the streaming like channels or places or whatever, or even with YouTube. And there's some all over social media. I'm gonna work on creating some episodes where it's all about who to check out, who can make you laugh, and also music and stuff too. So listen to some wonderful, amazing music. I know I sound like I am just one of the groupies, but I kind of am. Yeah, I'm such a Zoe. But when it comes to just like some of my favorite girls from, this past year, Golden and the entire soundtrack, a lot of it has a lot of meaning. And I think that's one of the reasons why it hit home to so many people, because it's so universal. And even with the main character, with how I saw her, it's like I could relate to her so much, because everyone was like, when it comes to my disability, everyone kept telling me how I am supposed to be, and I had to hide how I walk naturally, but they kept saying I was either lying, or pick up your feet, or go get fixed, or go get corrected. A lot of the same things as, not her aunt, but basically her aunt. It's like she kept hiding who she really was, or telling her, forcing her to hide who she really was, because she would say that the world would not love her or care for her. Sounding just like my mother. But anyway, it's like that's an example of some of the music that, especially if you're on your grind, if you're trying to get back to going on a walk, or it's like if you have a disability like me, like I found different ways to go around that. I'm kind of excited because I've been saving my money for something where it won't be a quote unquote walk, but it's a way where I can, my version of going on a walk. So And you know what? I should do an episode on that too, so that more people with disabilities can look and see their options. But I know a lot of us, when it comes to money, physical therapy and medicine and like I don't like I've had to buy so many contraptions out of my own money too to help me be able to not like for my disability not to be get worse and stuff. So anyway, okay. Oh, and before I forget too, yeah, I'm gonna mention it again probably throughout the episode, but I have receipts with all of the episodes and everything I talk about because it's funny when I get MAGA or Republicans who listen to my channel. I don't know why they do, but it's like then they say, "Oh, you're ignorant, you're naive, you don't know what you're talking about." But I'm like, I'm literally talking about my life. When I talk about politics, I give examples about what I've went through, how I've lived, and the stupid, crazy, awful, just despicable, poorly educated, uneducated things that so many people have told me, said to me, treated me, and devalued me. And so anyway, check out my Patreon. I loaded a couple, no, I did one post today, but I think I uploaded like 70 more new pictures yesterday. And I'm going to upload more, but yeah, I'm still working on, there's too many projects. But yeah, so check out Patreon and stay tuned because I'm going to be working on the other channel soon, very, very soon actually. And I'm going to be talking about the candle business, the greeting cards, the novels, the poetry, and the activity books, and basically everything to do with my business and my planning with the marketing. And right now, even I'm trying to figure out the look for each, because I think I know how I'm going to make each of the candles look. But now I need to create a database so I can make sure that in they all have a like the same look throughout, look all in unison and everything like that. And so, yeah, kind of like their outfits or their uniforms. So I think I'm so close to that as well. So yeah, there's so much, there's so many pieces to it. And yeah, it's like I'm kind of excited because I'm putting my creativity together with it. And each of my candles tell a story. And they're going to be basically, yeah, they're gonna be at the luxury level. I've done so much research trying to make sure that with the waxes that they're as natural as possible, but at the same time that they have longevity and that the smell and the aroma will stay in the air as long as possible. And yeah, there's quite a few things, but yeah, I'll save that for when I start back at the other channel. And each smell, yeah, let's just say I'm a nerd. I've added political spin to so many of them. And with the greeting cards, same thing. So, but okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm petty. And so we're going to talk about something petty. And I mentioned my business and my goals and things because so many men hate my goals and dreams. So I am going to get on their nerves so much more and make sure I mention it. And I mention it because for women out there who might be scared or nervous, or if men are telling them, no, focus on having kids. And there's even some women who hate on me because I talk about kids or having kids or not having kids. Like, if you want kids, because see, I'm going to have a whole series on that too. Because especially when it comes to the Christian community, and then just a woman's limited time, and then the health and even certain health conditions, and they stress women out so much. And then with the limitations, especially with religion, it's like, okay, so I can't just date a guy and have a kid with him. It's like I have to date him and marry him, and then they want me to marry him for the rest of my life. And then if I get divorced, and they want, now Republicans are trying to make divorce like an embarrassment again, when it's just like, okay, you stress women to marry off quickly because of our fertility and all of this other just mess. And then you blame the woman for the divorce, or you blame the woman for so many of the different things. Sometimes it is the woman's fault. I'm not gonna. I've met some women, and remember, like with Mr. No Heart's wife. Yeah, she's an awful, terrible, despicable human being, and it's like part of me. I see how it was both of their fault. And with every relationship, it's not always 100% one person's fault. And yeah, I'm going to talk about this in another episode, but I'll just finish with this. Because with Mr. No Heart, when I broke up with him, it was not 100% his fault. I should have left a long time ago. But I kept allowing everyone else to tell me, just be patient, just wait, just give him time. He will be a good man once he realizes how amazing you are, once he sees how great you are. Pay attention to these men out here right now. See, yeah, because now I'm really getting into the topic now. Pay attention to these men out here. And pay attention to who these men follow, listen to, vote for. Yeah, who they try to mirror. I've talked about this so many times. But when people listen to podcasters like Joe Rogan, when they vote for people like the Orange Man, when they listen to people like Pete Hegseth, and or like the men on Fox News. Like there's the one guy who, yeah, I think he met his current wife because like he was married, but then he was at a party or a function or whatever. I've mentioned this in another episode, but he saw this beautiful woman, blah blah blah, and he just had to be able to go out with her. But he like there was no reason for her to talk to him. So he decided to slash her tires so that then she would have to have help. So then she went to him and he was able to be her Prince Charming, her white knight. And now they're married. Yeah. Yeah. And then look at Pete Hegseth. Yeah, look at the men out here. Look at the men out here. But then even pay more attention because, like right around like that Easter ceremony thing that they had at the White House, and like the Orange Man had a speech, but then they took that speech down, but he didn't, like, the people already uploaded and everything and spreading it around when he said they didn't have any money for daycare and called it a scam. And then he said, make like, let it be up to the states. But we already know how a lot of the conservative states feel. Yeah, because you know what? I want to watch which states do provide daycare for all. Let's see. Let's find out. Come on, Mitten State. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come? Yeah. Like, what are we gonna do? Okay. We still can't get the Crown Act to pass. We know that's racism. But yeah, there's so many things that we want to have, but either, yeah. But one reason I don't think they're a majority of the states, because I kind of believe, I'm just gonna have my hypothesis or whatever. I'm wondering if California might, though. I'm wondering. I mean, they have such an expensive lifestyle and stuff anyway, and taxes wise, like they're the ones, like so many other states benefit from California taxes. So part of me is just like, you know what, California, be a little petty, be a little petty, why don't you, show the rest of the country, like, okay, okay, Orange Man. Oh, especially, the Orange Man's arch nemesis is in California. Do it. Be petty. Be extra petty. Please. Like, you don't even know. You don't even know. Oh my gosh. It's like, who? I would mail him one of my petty greeting cards. And I might would even send him, like, oh, I have what, like, some of my candles, they're part of a collection. I would send him one of the collections too. But yeah, because I feel like the orange man is trying to kind of like, well, no, he's not kind of, he is, like, with Pete Hegseth and a lot of the other men and stuff, like these conservative men, they are trying for women to stay at home. They're promoting for women to stay at home at the church. Yeah, you thought I mentioned the church for a reason earlier. Yeah. Like, cuz I know my pastor, and that's one reason I don't really go, like, I'll listen here and there, but like at my church years ago, I already realized, I was like, the garbage they've been telling, like, brainwashing me with all this time. But then, especially during COVID, when I would be watching with my sister, it's like there after like 3 or 4 strikes, oh, he was out, like, with some of the political stuff he was saying. I'm just like, are you serious? Because even after the 2022 Olympics, with the boxer, with the fighting, whatever, oh, they don't even know if she's a man or a woman. He said something like that during the sermon. And yeah, because he was talking about that for like 5 minutes. And I was just like, wow, really? And during his, I've mentioned this so many times, but it's like our pastor, during his whole marriage advice, even though, yeah, he just got remarried after divorcing his wife and everything like that. But now, it's like, the more he spoke, the more reason I realized why they divorced and why I applaud her for divorcing him. Yeah. I'm like, smart woman, very smart woman. Because when he said that a woman's not supposed to argue with the man, and that the woman is just supposed to allow, or just let the man do what he says, what he allows and stuff like that. And then hearing some of the Republican MAGA right, like, there was this one, like, in my opinion, remember, all of this is in my opinion, but the goofball from YouTube, who's a like pastor or religious leader or whatever like that, he says that his wife has to get his permission to read a book. Mm, no wonder Democrats, like, the more education you have, the more likely you are to be a Democrat. I will never, like, let a man allow me. Yeah, because there's been a few guys that I like, because, like, even when I asked them, who did you vote for, all this other mess, whatever, and then some of them pretend to be, and this is why I say, ladies, and I mean, ladies and gentlemen too, because, I mean, women, I don't feel like women lie about this or not nearly as often, because, you know, but, and also there are so many more conservative single men anyway, so they don't need to. But this is why you need to ask and make sure who the person you're about to date either voted for or political, and this is why I'm working on something right now that could help. It will be on the website and things. And yeah, it's going to be free. It's going to be one of the freebies and stuff, but it will be like a resource where you can be able to go to the list, and then this way I'll be able to add to it, especially with a new, like, even I might even have a current event, like, column and everything like that. But yeah, some of these men are going to lie to you, and so I am going to equip you with arsenal so that they won't be ready for all the questions. And with some of the questions, it's going to force them to have to tell the truth. Because some men, they will say anything and everything, just like Mr. No Heart and Mr. Lockakey. They, and this is why I say we have to be careful around these men, Look at these so called role models. Look at these so called leaders in the White House and in government and around us right now and on social media that they watch and listen to. Look and listen how they treat women and how they tell men to treat women. And now this so-called leader, president, orange man, and yeah, he is talking about daycare and not paying, but like he didn't pay a lot of people with all the bankruptcies and everything like that. But aside from that, he didn't pay a lot of people what they were owed on purpose, and he would laugh about it, and or he would know that they could not afford the legal counsel to sue him. So that's one reason why he would hire some of these companies. And this is, well, I've read this in some of the articles and everything, so again, in my opinion. But yeah, it's like I will try to find some of the articles. Some of them were like years ago and stuff like that, but they were saying he would hire some companies because he knew if he didn't pay them, they wouldn't be able to afford to fight for it. So do you think he cares that if you can't afford your gas, do you think he cares that you now have to maybe buy cheaper food, or that you're not able to eat as much or go out and do things that you used to be able to do? Do you think he cares? At like while they were like Kamala and the Orange Man were going at it with trying to get into the Oval Office and stuff. It's like he was at a luncheon. I keep saying this, but a lot of people that I provided this in other videos. If I don't provide it in this video, it's because I have now I think I have 700 episodes. Catch up, listen. You would already know what I'm talking about. But he was at a luncheon with a lot of these rich millionaire and billionaires. What did he promise them on the mic? He promised that he was going to make them richer. Yeah, he doesn't want to pay for daycare for the average or like the lower, the middle class people. No, he wants us just to work, and he wants women to stay at home. And like men love that because that allows them more power. Look at the men. Look at these guys. It's like this man started a war. And even he started a war with education because if you paid attention to, I think it was the same like speech, but he was like, oh yeah, she was supposed to go through Congress to shut some of the stuff down or do certain things. But I told her, oh, go on and do it anyway. Go on and do it anyway, even though it's going against our country's process, even though it sounds like someone's trying to be a king and a dictator. And speaking of being like a dictator, emphasis on the dick, but even though he doesn't really have much one of it, but yeah, now he wants to sign his name on the dollar, on our money. But then it's really funny because even when we had that COVID money, it's like, do you know how many poorly educated people still think that he gave us that COVID money from his pockets? Do you know how many people think that? And one reason, because I keep saying, like, this man learned a lot about marketing. He learned a lot about brainwashing people. And it's like, this is one reason why, like, even with my marketing and advertising classes, a lot of students didn't pay attention to me. A lot of my students didn't pay any attention to me because if they paid attention, they would see how much I've taught them is exactly what this orange man is doing right now. It's like a lot of these things are marketing techniques. He used a lot of these marketing techniques in order to especially get a lot of the white, able bodied, straight white men. He did. And it was like an art form. The posse that he had around him, they did it with like, and that's, it's just crazy. It's crazy. But with that speech, with the money. So many people think like, no, he didn't. And when I told those MAGA Republicans he didn't, they called me dumb. They called me stupid. And it's like, okay, so how much money did this orange man make last year? At first I thought it was 2 billion, but now I'm hearing it's $4 billion. And it's like, do a lot of you guys know that him and his sons created a social club where I forgot, like, I think it's like a half million or $1 million a year, but it's like these millionaire and billionaires can go to these meetings with Congress people, with political representatives, and talk. And, like, yeah, what are they going to talk about? What are they going to talk about? Maybe talk about the same things that have been allowing these millionaires and billionaires to make so much more money over the last year and a half. Let's think about that. Well, it hasn't been a year and a half yet, but yeah, trust me, as the year, like, yeah, just think about that. Why did they start that special club? And special club where they, like, yeah, it's for the super rich and the political power. So when we look at these men, when we look at these people, look at who they care about. They say all lives matter, and they're trying to say, oh, well, we're going to give $1,000 to each, blah, blah, blah. And we want these camps, these marriage camps, so that we can encourage people to get married. And no, it's like, see, this is a trap for the women. They want to make sure women are going to be popping out kids so that they can have more people for the labor force. And then we have AI that is basically like, yeah, they're firing people left and right. Like, oh, AI can do it now. Goodbye. AI can do this now. Goodbye. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even though part of me just want, like, if they use AI in the right way, or if they train staff how to use AI, then maybe their companies can do an even better job than before. Instead of just trying to rely on AI that's going to come up with computerized things that doesn't have that human spin to it, that human look to it. Why don't you allow humans to use it as a resource? But in the society and the world we live in right now, I feel like the billionaires are trying to dehumanize us. They don't see us as value other than buy our products and only our products and make us richer and only us richer. And oh, yeah, you have a small business where I want to make money off of your small business. I want to benefit from your small business. I want to steal your ideas. And now I have a company or a product just like yours. But now I'm going to put my social media at search engine optimization even stronger above yours because you can't compete against me because I am the person who is in control of it. And then even when you look at social media and you look at it politically, it's like, I remember, like, back in the day, years and years ago, I remember I would be watching, like, the Young Turks. I don't watch, like, Rashad, I do, like, yeah, I like his show still, but, like, Zane, shit, yeah, Anand, yeah, whatever. No, thank you. But I remember I would be listening to one after another, like, all Democrat progressive stuff. But then I would fall asleep, and then the next morning, for some reason, Republican stuff start. I'm like, oh, how in the crap did this happen? They're nowhere near. They're not. I have never watched Republican stuff. It's only when I fall asleep and wake up, then Republican stuff starts coming. Like, so I know that algorithm. That algorithm. And the billionaires created this algorithm, and this is one reason why we have the orange man in office right now. The marketing, the algorithm, search engine optimization, and brainwashing. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too.